I had been planning my 2-week business trip to Seattle for months. Every detail was arranged, from flights to hotel reservations. My house, the one I had spent 10 years paying off, would sit empty while I was gone. Or at least, that was what my parents thought. 3 days before my departure, I stopped by my parents' house for dinner. Everything seemed normal until I walked into the kitchen and overheard a conversation that instantly made my blood boil. My mother was speaking quietly, but I heard every word. "Once she's gone, we'll help Ryan move his things in. She won't notice at first, and by then it'll be too late." My father's voice followed. "Exactly. Family helps family. She has 3 bedrooms. Ryan needs a place to stay." I froze. Ryan was my younger brother. For years, he had bounced from apartment to apartment, never holding a steady job for more than a few months. Every financial mess somehow became someone else's responsibility. Apparently, this time, they had decided it would become mine. I stepped into the kitchen. Move Ryan into whose house? The silence was immediate. My mother's face turned pale. My father cleared his throat. "We were just discussing possibilities." "No," I said. "You were discussing moving him into my house while I was gone." Ryan suddenly appeared from the living room. "Come on. It's not a big deal. It's temporary." "Temporary?" I laughed. "You've been temporary everywhere you've lived." My father frowned. "You're being selfish." That word always amazed me. I worked 60-hour weeks. I paid my own bills. I bought my own home. Yet somehow I was selfish for refusing to become Ryan's free housing provider. I left dinner early, but not before hearing my mother whisper, "She'll calm down." They thought they could simply wait me out. That's when I decided to set a trap. The next day, I called a friend who owned a security company. Within 48 hours, my house had new cameras covering every entrance, smart locks on every door, and motion sensors throughout the property. Then I did something even better. I told nobody. When my trip began, I acted completely normal. At the airport, my mother hugged me. "Have a wonderful trip." I smiled. "Oh, I will." 3 days later, I was sitting in my hotel room when my phone buzzed. Motion detected. Front door. I opened the camera feed. There they were. My parents. Ryan. And a moving truck. I nearly laughed. Ryan was carrying boxes toward my front porch. My father was unlocking a key he'd secretly copied years earlier. The moment he inserted it, the smart lock rejected access. He tried again. Nothing. My phone buzzed as another camera activated. My mother looked confused. Ryan looked annoyed. Then my father pulled out his phone. A few seconds later, my own phone rang. I answered. "Hello. Your lock isn't working." "I know." "What do you mean, you know?" "I changed it." There was a long pause. My mother grabbed the phone. "We came to help Ryan get settled. Into my house. You have plenty of space." I leaned back comfortably. "No, I have exactly enough space." My father sounded angry now. "You can't treat family like this." I switched the camera angle so I could watch all 3 of them standing awkwardly beside the moving truck. "Actually, I can." Then I ended the call. The next 30 minutes were pure entertainment. They tried the back door, the garage, every window, every possible entry point. Nothing worked. Finally, Ryan kicked the porch step in frustration. That turned out to be a mistake, because another motion alert triggered a pre-recorded announcement from the security system. "Warning. Property surveillance active. Authorities may be notified." Ryan jumped backward. I laughed so hard I nearly spilled my coffee. A few minutes later, my phone rang again. This time it was my mother crying. "Why would you embarrass us like this?" I couldn't believe what I was hearing. "Embarrass you? You tried to move someone into my house without permission. We thought you'd understand." "No. You thought I'd surrender." Silence. Then I delivered the final surprise. "You should probably tell the moving company to leave." "Why?" "Because I already emailed them." "What?" I informed them that any move onto my property was unauthorized. The driver, apparently, had already received the message. Through the camera, I watched him approach Ryan and shake his head. Within minutes, the truck was pulling away. Ryan looked furious. My father looked defeated. My mother looked shocked. For the first time, they realized something important. I wasn't the obedient child they could manipulate anymore. When I returned home 2 weeks later, nobody mentioned the incident. Not at first. Then one Sunday, my father finally spoke. "You really planned all that?" I smiled. "You planned first." He didn't have an answer. Neither did my mother. As for Ryan, he eventually rented a small apartment and, surprisingly, kept a job long enough to pay for it himself. The The best part wasn't stopping them. The best part was teaching them a lesson. My house wasn't family property. It wasn't a community resource. It wasn't Ryan's backup plan. It was mine. And after that day, everyone finally understood that.